Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum to all of you. Well, as usual, I have come with the 12th week of your new lecture. That is your intensive listening. Likewise, that is, or you can say the live listening. Now we have to see that what is the specific importance of intensive listening, especially in your live listening, and what are the best procedures that we follow in our intensive listening. Clear? Now just proceed towards our first lecture, that is your intensive listening of your live listening. Now, what actually the intensive listening in terms of your live listening is? Now we have to see that what is actually, what is this situation of your listening? Now, live listening is basically a process of ensuring the genuine face-to-face communication catching in a specific setting. Now, likewise, if you just see that we are having a face-to-face communication with each other, that means this is called the live listening. And within the, because it is just, it takes place within the classroom, that's why it becomes the intensive listening of your live listening. Now, what do you mean with the live listening? Means face-to-face communication, which is going on, uh, at the time of speaking. Clear? So that becomes a live listening. Likewise, if you just focus on your cricket match or live cricket match in which the commentators are speaking among other, so that becomes a live listening. Clear? And even though if right now I'm teaching you and you're listening, because we are in a specific setting, we are in a classroom, so that becomes intensive listening. Clear? But I am teaching, you're listening to me because we are having a face-to-face communication, so that becomes the live listening within the intensive listening. Clear? Means face-to-face communication which takes place, so that becomes a live listening. Now we have to see the what are the basic steps that we follow, especially in our live listening. Now the first one, that is your reading loud. Now what happens basically in reading loud? Now what we are supposed to do, being a teacher, what should I do? Actually, reading aloud is basically entertaining activity, and then this is for the teacher to read aloud to class. Now what happens, because this allows the students to hear a clear spoken version of written text or spoken text. Clear? And actually this is for the teacher as well, because whenever the teacher who reads aloud, basically he's always prepared with expression. Likewise, some of the teachers who come in, who come within the class, so he speak in a different way, and some of the students get bored from the speaking of the teacher, and some of the students get entertained from the teacher's voice or teacher's expression. So whenever the teacher is reading, so the sometimes it depends upon the teacher that how he conducts the class and how he reads aloud. Clear? And even though sometimes the teacher also read from the dialogues from the book, in which he creates atmosphere in which he becomes uh, or he plays a role of different characters. Likewise, he becomes the Hamlet as well, in which is who is mentioned especially in your Shakespeare's book or drama, whatever. Clear? So that becomes what means whenever he reads aloud. Now, what do you mean by this read aloud? Because this is the essential point whenever the teacher is reading loudly. So the voice should be reached towards the ears of students easily. And even though whenever the teacher is reading, so he can also take the help of dialogues from the book. Clear? So that becomes a reading aloud, in which the students will come to know the expression of the teacher, how the teacher is reading loudly. Clear? And the second one, that is your storytelling. Yes, of course, storytelling plays a vital role. Now, in this storytelling section, what the teacher is supposed to do, teacher is ideally placed to tell the stories to the students. Now, even though at any stage of the story, means it can be in the introduction, it can be in the body language, or it can be in the middle, or it can be in the last. The students can be asked to predict what is coming next, to describe the people in the story, or you can say the students can pass the comments in storytelling. And even though likewise, if I just give you the example, if I just tell you the story of fairy tales, clear? Now with the help of my expressions, now I'm telling you that fairy is flying over the sky and she's doing fala fala and fala. No, when I just tell you this kind of a story, you will come to know that the second coming stage or coming sentences or coming scene, that what the fairy will do in the next scene. Means this depends upon the teacher, that how teacher is trying to tell you the story, and you will predict out that what is coming next. So that becomes a storytelling by the teacher. Clear? And the third one, that is your interview. Now what do you mean by this word interview? Now interview is basically, as if I just give you the example, the teacher can ask the stranger to visit the class, and in this visit, clear? So in this visit, the student will come to know, our students will develop the questions themselves, that what is the communication between the teacher and the strange person, and you will see that how the two persons are interacting with each other, how they are going to have conversation with each other. I think from this picture you should come to know that there are the three interviewers and one is interview, clear? And they are taking the interview from this person, and they will come to know that how they're speaking with among other, clear? So they will come to know. And now from this point of view, the students will come to know. And even though likewise, if I just bring one of my friend in the classroom and I will speak to them, or I will speak to him, and what you will do, you will listen to us, me and my friend, and you will see that how we are having a conversation, or how we are going to have a I'm going to conduct the interview from my friend. You will see, you will listen to each and every point of my lecture. So this becomes what? This becomes an interview. You will see that what kind of questions can be asked from my friend by me. So you will see the interviews point, each and every point from my interview. Clear? And the last at the least, this is that is your conversation. Now what do you mean by this word conversation? Now conversation is basically uh, the interaction, the communication between the two persons, or more than two persons as well. Now from this pic, you will see that the Imran Khan is having a conversation with the American senator or American reporter. Clear? What you will assume, what you will think, that they are having a conversation with each other, and how they're having how they are using their expressions while communications and gesture and postures. Now, if you see that the Fala person is using, the Fala person from the American who is your reporter, clear? Now he's using his gesture and postures. Now what do you mean by the gesture and postures? Means the body movement. Now if you see that he is moving his hand while asking the questions from the Imran Khan about his government, clear? And even though conversation, especially as a teachers, I can pursue a colleague. I can bring a colleague to come our class, and we can hold a conversation with him about English topic or any other subject. Clear? And what the students will do, students will definitely have the chance to watch the interaction between me as a teacher and the fellow my friend. And we can, even though we can also the extend storytelling possibilities by role playing activities. Now, likewise, if I just bring my friend in the class, and you are the listener, you are the audience, clear? The students are audience, and what they will do, they will listen to us, me, and as well as my friend. You will see that how they are communicating, how they are having interaction with each other. So this becomes what? This becomes the conversation in the intensive listening, because this is a live listening which is going on between me and my friend. And you will see that how they are speaking, how they are using the gesture and postures, and you will see, and you will come to know the expressions, or you can say that you will see the facial expressions, whether they are scared or they are confident. So this becomes what? This becomes the intensive listening of your conversation, especially in your live listening. Clear? So this is all about the today's lecture. If you have any kind of a question or any kind of a query, you can ask me right now. Thank you.